Well, hello there. My name is HW.
I'm John too.
And that is a cool guitar.
It really is, actually.
It's the Suze's favorite guitar. He was dying to get in this video and play it.
He really hates this thing.
He really does. That is a Rasmus made in China.
It says Sir back here.
It's a Chinese-made Sir. A lot of people don't know, they made a line of Chinese-made guitars called Rasmus, imported them, brought them to the Sir factory, put on the hardware, put in the pickups. It's got real Sir pickups, just like a Sir Modern.
It really, I mean, it feels like a Sir. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's different, and I don't know how their modern ones feel, but it's just it's a flatter radius, thinner
It's 16
neck.
all the way up, where I think their moderns are 10 to 16.
And 16 feels really flat.
Yeah, it's flat. Yeah. You especially feel it down here.
It's pretty flat.
Their modern gets 16 somewhere up above the 12th. Okay. And then it's 10
I like
down
it.
here.
I don't mind it, though. I like it.
I think it's a great guitar. It's got an SSV, an SSH Plus, an ML. So it's got the same Goto 510. I wish they had kept making these, but they said...
oh, no.
Basically, they had to keep...
I gotta get that.
They had to keep making changes and modifications, and they had to get the setups all right, and it was too much work to keep doing it. So they said, forget it, we're just going to make... And then they came out with the satin moderns, which are supposed to be on the cheaper end. But they still didn't get to this price point. Anyway, that's the guitar.
That is not what this video is about.
No, it sounds like this. Here, play again so they remember what it sounds like.
Okay, sure.
I've secretly become a little bit obsessed with like modern guitar tones. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine lately.
I brought over that Chapman guitar
and it changed my life. Now I'm looking at EMGs on Reverb. It's ridiculous. And so this is the most modern guitar I have, and it is fairly modern sounding in the sense that the 80s were modern. Right, because when you say modern, you just mean not 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I think
right?
So. Yeah.
I mean, 80s is like, now we would almost call that retro or something, or sort of a throwback sound. But modern, Anyway, pitch chorus. That's what it's called. So, without a tube screamer and without the pitch chorus, it sounds like this. And so for the people watching at home, that is the Tweed Twin Low. It's the B3, same amp as the Cora Trim video that we did earlier this week.
Beautiful.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Not a vintage single coil tone, but something else.
Right.
You know? Like a beefy humbucker type thing, you know?
Yeah.
It does a lot. So, chorus has maybe never gone out of fashion in the more modern tone world. It's always there. It's got a rich history. Oh
my goodness.
It's like a...
That's the second time.
I'll get it this time. It's like, chorus has got like a rich history in harder music, you know?
Does it?
Sure.
Okay.
Doesn't it?
Well, I guess when I think of like Def Leppard, or I think of like that kind of stuff, that when you say rich history in harder music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Rush.
I don't mean... Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Like hard rock, early hard rock.
There you go.
And early metal.
Yeah.
And even getting into metal, certainly Metallica.
Yeah.
Which paves the way for everything harder than that today, right?
Okay.
And
you don't hear a lot of chorus on...
gent music. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Those guys aren't watching the channel.
No, they're not.
they're not here. Yeah. Maybe not in modern metal so much, but just definitely hard rock. It's all over the place.
Totally.
You know? Journey. I mean, that's not hard rock, but that's...
Well, it was.
Who doesn't...
At one point, it
hard
was.
rock. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this effect. That is a really cool amp, a vintage-esque amp, and this is the pitch chorus.
It's cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I've been experimenting with. Running effects behind the amp and in front of the amp, and how they give you different sort of tones. With the Cora Trim video that we did earlier in the week, you can check out, we put a chorus in front and a trem in back. And that sort of gave you the choppiness, the traditional Fender choppiness, but it gave you a chorus sound that was fairly vintagey sounding.
Right.
I've taken that same vintagey sounding CE1 chorus, but moved it to the back. And to me, that gives you less of that vintage sounding thing. And even though it's still very vintage, it's actually the same chorus, just moved to the back. It now sounds just like this.
Very subtle.
Subtle. It's that type of chorus that when I watch like YouTube videos of guitar players kind of from the 80s and the 90s, that sound, it's like I've heard Eric Johnson say about his chorus, it just makes the cleans a little prettier.
Yep.
And that's, I think, the type of thing there, right? So we did something else that Stu G showed me. He's a big fan of the micro pitch shifter, which came out of a lot of the Eventide stuff. So I took the Kemper's pitch shifter and placed it in front, and here's how it sounds by itself.
Also quite subtle.
Also quite subtle. And it's really a vibrato. But micro pitch shifters give you control over the sense. So how many cents is the vibrato detuning, basically? Whereas a vibrato is much more sort of warbly. In fact, I'm not even positive that a micro pitch shifter actually warbles and crosses the middle in the same way a vibrato does. So vibrato is supposed to go flat and sharp, and sharp, and sort of wiggle around, right? I'm not even positive that a micro pitch shifter crosses in the same way, although it does give us a crossover, so it must. But it just sounds different. I don't quite know. Maybe something else is going on. But it gives us a detune. We're only detuning about 6 cents. So it's very subtle. It's enough that you would notice it's out of tune, but not enough that if it's moving around, it's going to bother you, because that's sort of the max detune it's going to get.
Yeah, vibrato is like a very unsettling sound.
It can be.
This is not so much that.
Yeah, that's true.
This is prettier.
Yeah, this is true. This, I feel like you can play with chords and it doesn't give you the dizzy feeling.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
Play that again with chords. If you watch like Tim Pierce's channel and he talks about some of the like famous songs he's played on, to me this is the sound of like 80s and 90s session players. It's that processed sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it really is from those Eventide processors. They used to be able to put these on just their delays, put the micro pitch on their verbs, everything. So it was all over the place. Add these two together, and I think you get kind of the best of both worlds. This little sheen on top from the pitch shifter, and you get this depth from the chorus, but it's not so lo-fi. You get a really awesome pitch chorus that sounds like this. It's great.
That's cool.
Turn on a little tube screamer, single note stuff. You get. I'll tell you, to my ear, although it doesn't sound like it at first, to me that's actually a semi-similar sound, depending on what you're playing, and at times I hear it like with what you just played, to like modern worship tone. Because in that style, the delay is so heavy, and it's popular to put a lot of modulation on it, that when you start to play triads, dyads, when you start to get like it's a some sort of a melody line, but you're playing multiple notes together with double stops or whatnot, and you end up hearing the sort of modulated sound,
Right.
and it just gets to be this congested sort of tone. And to me, this does a similar thing, but sounds a little harder.
It brings that whole thing to the forefront.
Yeah.
Much more predictable than like letting it all happen by the repeats and all of that stuff. So
yeah. This is a cool chorus.
It is.
People can download it. On Facebook, it's up there. On YouTube, it's down there. And it's always at the Tone Junkie Tips and Tricks page, which has become a treasure trove. A treasure trove, I think, is not an over-exaggeration, of Kemper effects.
Undoubtedly.
KOT kind of esque things, Klon esque things, rotary. That's been a favorite one.
Isn't there an octave?
Octave.
I was just having a conversation about how terrible the
octave one, and we were saying use a different algorithm.
I didn't even know it was on there.
Yeah, the one you were using was the analog
I should
octavizer. Watch that video if you want to know about octaves. But the pitch chorus, I don't know that I'm going to use this one this weekend. Because
I'm going to.
You're gonna take that guitar, aren't you?
I am gonna play this guitar this weekend.
Watch out.
I might get fired.
You get fired. The Suze is gonna fire you.
Suze may or may not have just glared at me.
Well, it's gonna be awesome. You bring a pink boa or something, and you're gonna fit right in.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right. If you want to check out the pitch chorus preset, it's a free download. I have been HW.
I'm John too.
And if you get anything out of these videos, free downloads, if you've learned anything, if you find us entertaining or mildly annoying, you shouldn't be watching the rest of this video.
They haven't made it this far.
You haven't made it this far. This is only for the fans at this point. Thank you so much. And check that out. HW, out.
See ya.